So let's crochet the letter A.
So many reasons why I want for you, my love. Now you I want to retire with my love. See I get the
We're going to start out by graphing our letter A. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows for our letter A. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces across. So we're going to first crochet a thin letter A and then a wide letter A. We're going to use 2 colors of weight 4 yarn, a 5mm hook, and our scissors. So we're going to start off with the smaller A. And for the letter A, we have 4 spaces that we're going to be using. I want to leave 1 space in the front and 1 space behind, just in case I want to add some extra letters, right? So for the purposes of this tutorial for the letter A, for the smaller A, I'm going to chain up 8 chains. So I'm going to create a swatch for the letter A. I'm going to start off with a thinner A. So I'm just going to chain up 8 to start. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then I'm going to chain up 2. And in the third chain from the hook, so that 8th chain, I'm just going to put a double crochet in there and then double crochet in every stitch going back up the chain. Okay, so that's the first row of my swatch. I'm going to chain up 2, turn my work, and this is going to start the first row of our letter A. So here I'm going to skip this bottom stitch, this first stitch, go into the next stitch, make a double crochet. And then in the following stitch, I'm going to start the double crochet by pulling through the first 2 loops. And then I'm going to add my color change here. So I'm going to take the red now and pull through the last 2 loops. And then tighten my gray and red string together so I could tuck it. And in that next stitch, we're going to do red double crochet, next stitch, another double crochet, only pulling through the first 2 loops, leaving the last 2 on the hook. dropping the red forward, and we're just going to pull that gray through and finish off our row with double crochets. Chain up 2, turn our work, and skip that bottom stitch. Next stitch, we're going to do double crochet, 2 double crochets, and here I'm going to pull up my red to finish that second double crochet, and we're just going to pop the red double crochet right here on the outside of these 2 double crochets. So we're doing this second row right here, pulling my gray up to finish this double crochet, and then add 2 gray double crochets. That second double crochet, we're going to finish off with the red, and next stitch is a red double crochet, and then we switch back to the gray. And that completes our second row. We have row 1 and row 2 completed. So row 3 is going to be the same as row 2. So we're just going to repeat that. So here at the end of the row, chain up 2, turn the work. Okay. Going to skip this first stitch, go into the second one, drop the gray back, pull the red up, and on top of that red double crochet, we'll put 1. Finish this one off with the gray. And hit 2 gray double crochets, switch out for the red, next stitch a red double crochet, switch out for the gray, finish off the swatch with the gray. Well, this row with the gray. Right, and we're going to chain up 2, turn our work, and that is row 3. So 1, 2, 3 rows are done, and now we're going to go to row 4. And as you can see here with row 4 is going to be the cross section for the A. So we skip that first stitch, going with the gray for 2. And then we switch it out for the red, but now we're going to do 4 double crochets going across. 3, 4. Then we're going to pull up that gray through the red and finish off this row of the swatch. Chain 2, turn our work, skip that first stitch, go into the next one, pull up the red through the last 2 loops, and we're doing 1 red double crochet, then we're doing 2 gray double crochets, and then 1 red double crochet. Then we just finish this row off with the gray, chain up 2, and that is row 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then row 6 and 7 are going to repeat row 5 as well as row 2 and row 3. So we're just going to skip that first stitch and then 2 gray double crochets, 1 red double crochet, 2 grays, and 1 red. Then we're just going to finish off this row with the gray. Chain up 2 and turn our work. That's row 6. And then for this last row, we skip that first stitch, do the gray, 1 gray, 1 red, 2 gray, 1 red, and then we just finish off this row here with the gray. And that completes our 7 rows for the A. So what I'm going to do now is just create a finishing row. So I chain up 2 and then I just put 1 double crochet in each stitch going up. And there we have our A. So this is our thinner letter A. For our wide letter A, we are gonna double these boxes. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces for the A. Let's go for 8. So we're gonna add 2 double crochets per box. So for my swatch for this, I'm going to chain up my swatch for this. I'm going to chain up 12 so we could work with the middle space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, we have 12 stitches. I'm just gonna chain 2, and in that 12th stitch we're gonna put a double crochet, and we're just gonna double crochet all the way up this chain. chain up 2, and turn my work. So I'm going to skip this first stitch. I'm going to do 1, 2 grays. This is going to be my spacing, and then I'm going to do 2 gray double crochets as this space here. Then I'm going to introduce my red to create the middle part of the A. Pull my tail and my gray back, and we're just going to tuck that while we do 4 red double crochets for our middle. Pull up the gray, and we're just gonna finish this row with the gray. Chain up 2, turn our work. So we have our 4 double crochets for our first row of the A. Skip this first bottom stitch. We're gonna do 1 gray stitch here and then 2 red. Then we're gonna do 4 gray for the middle. And then we're gonna pull up the red and do 2 red. And then we're gonna finish off with the gray. And chain up 2. So that is our second row for the A. And then row 3 is going to be a repeat of row 2. So I'm turning my work, skipping that first bottom stitch, going into the next one with a gray, another gray. That is our spacing. We're pulling up the red, and we're going to do 2 red double crochets, 4 gray double crochets, and then 2 red double crochets. Then we're just going to finish this row off with the gray. Chain up 2 and turn our work. So we got row 1, 2, 3 done, and now we're going to work on row 4. And row 4 is going to be straight across, so we're just going to do 8 double crochets for this middle space. So skipping this first stitch right here, going into our spacing and pulling up our red to do 8 double crochets. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we're just gonna finish this row off here with the gray. chain up 2, turn our work, and now we're going to move on to row 5. 5, 6, and 7 are all identical, again, to row 2 and 3. So we skip that first stitch, go in with our spacing with the gray, pull up the red to do 2 red double crochets, 4 gray double crochets for our middle, and then 2 red for our end. And then finish the row off with the gray. Chain 2, turn our work. Skip that first stitch, go into our spacing. Pull up the red again to do 2 red double crochets, 4 gray double crochets, and then we're pulling up 2 red double crochets, and then we're finishing off our row with the gray. Chain 2, turn our work, and we're now on row 7 of our letter A, skipping that first stitch at the end and doing our spacings with the gray, pulling up the red, and we're going to do 2 red double crochets, 4 gray double crochets, and 2 red, and then finish off this row with the gray. Chain up 2, gonna snip off my red because we're done with that. Turning my work, and we're just gonna hit double crochets straight across for this final row to close up the swatch. And that completes our wide letter A. So that's our wide A. That's our thin A. All right, letter A done. So we have our 2 basic A's, but I had a wild idea because I am a freehand girly. I am not used to working with patterns. A way to close off the A. We start off with the 4 at the top. So we have our 1, 2, 3, 4 boxes for our top row. And then we use 2, but we have the second row coming underneath the first and the last stitches of the A, the top of the A. So if we just follow these down, and then for our middle section, row 4, we just keep that same standard of the A going across. And this is if each box is 1 double crochet. It's gonna come out like that. So you got 3 A options. And yeah, that completes our A's.